Story 1. Reading through this thread, the most recurring points I am seeing are 1. Tall men usually have no problem. Asian women tend to prefer white men. Story 2. I have dated all kinds of women, and the only race-related thing I can think of as a white man is how mean strangers were when I dated a black woman for about a year. Story 3. I'm black, so I am either ignored, feared, fetishized, friend-zoned, or rejected. Fetishized and rejected are not the same. There are women who will fantasize about me to my face but will not dare touch me. I have had 1 or 2 relatively normal relationships. Everything else is just messy. The worst thing about it is that it is completely unpredictable. I have no niche except mentally ill women who cope through sex. It really seems like my success with women is a reflection of how bad their relationships with men generally are. The worse they are, the better my chances. And that is a really difficult place to be in, seeing as I am a man. Story 4. Black, tall, and not friendly looking. Moved from the East Coast to Southern California and received much more attention from all races in Southern California. Back east, pretty much only black women interacted with me. Story 5. 5 feet 10 inches tall, light-skinned East Asian. I hear a lot of girls talking about Korean pop music when I am around. I am not Korean. Story 6. Korean American, not many issues. Though my self-confidence was very low for a while when I was in middle school. A white girl said, "No one cares what you think, you ugly baboon," when we were talking about what our future partners would be like. Other than that, I haven't had much trouble, surprisingly. I mostly get attention from Asian, white, and black girls. Story 7. I am a 5'10", 200-pound straight male. I am mainly attracted to black or dark skin complexions. Personality is important after the initial attraction. Most of the time, black women are surprised that a Pakistani man wants to date them. It is even more surprising when I am out in public with a woman who has a darker complexion. People stare, especially brown and black people. Story 8. 5 feet 10 inches Sephardic and Latino. I think it has been good. Very early in my current relationship, my girlfriend, who is Russian, was truly shocked when I told her I cannot dance after she got 2 tickets for a salsa club. I think she was under the impression that all Latinos dance like Ricky Martin or something like that. Story 9. I am an unremarkable white British man whom most British women ignore, but for some reason, attractive Eastern European women like me. Not complaining. Story 10. I am South Asian. I used to do well in matches on apps until a year ago. Since then, it has gotten worse. Being South Asian, it is always an uphill battle from the start. Others begin from ground zero, but most of us start 10,000 feet deep in the ocean. So I do not care too much to begin with. I just enjoy my life. Story 11. I'm biracial with black and white heritage. When I was in middle and high school, I was rejected by every girl I liked because of my skin color. A few girls liked me, but they said I had to be their secret because their families didn't accept black people or interracial relationships. During dance classes and music, they wouldn't come near me or touch me, as if I were somehow less than human, even though they touched all their other partners. Sometimes I had to dance solo because of this. When I dated my ex at 16, I thought someone was better than no one. Her family turned out to be very racist, and she became racist toward me. I was called offensive racial slurs, and she told me to figure out my racial percentages in case we had children or got married. She also cheated on me with white people and compared me to them. My plan is to leave my state because racism is very prevalent in my area. Racism no longer affects me much. Many on my mother's side are racist. They compared my hair to Brillo pads, called me a monkey, used various racial slurs, and called me a half-breed. This, however, is irrelevant to the main issue. At one point, it got so bad that I wanted to bleach my skin, change my eye color to blue, shave my hair, and even reconstruct my skull and body. Basically erase all signs of my heritage. How is dating now? I have been single for 4 years. Story 12. Mediterranean and somewhat ethnic looking. Things were great until September 11th, but then many women acted strangely at the same time, and the law of averages meant I encountered a few in a row. It made me really depressed. Today, it's mostly fine, but I am older and not in great shape, so that's understandable. The injustice of being prejudged really affected me, but now that I am not investing much and not getting much in return, I do not complain. We all have our inherent sense of what is fair and what is not. Story 13. No. 6 feet tall white man. I usually make good friends with women of all races but am friend-zoned by all of them. Story 14. I am half white and half Hispanic. I have always been very physically attracted to Hispanic women, but many of them never notice me. I have always had good luck with Asian women. I am not sure why. Story 15. Black male, 6 feet 1 inch and athletic. I have never had any issues. My wife is Arab, and I have had women of various backgrounds show interest, including black, white, Hispanic, and Asian. So no, it has not impacted me whatsoever. Story 16. No idea. I have never made the decision to change my ethnicity, so I do not currently have a frame of reference to compare. Story 17. I am white British but with much darker hair and skin than most. I have often been asked if I am from the Mediterranean or even the Middle East. Some girls have completely lost interest when they found out I am just British. Story 18. Women of my own ethnicity have shunned me for not being into the culture enough. At the same time, women of other ethnicities have rejected me for assuming I am very into my culture and that my parents are as well, and therefore a long-term relationship was not possible. Very amusing. Story 19. Honestly, sometimes I feel like a stereotype before I am seen as a person. Other times, I am a type someone is curious about. It is complicated. Story 20. Brilliant. It's crazy how much your ethnicity can play into dating. Like, I didn't even realize it at first, but once you start noticing patterns, it's hard to unsee. For me, it's been a mix. Sometimes it's like, oh wow, your insert ethnicity? That's so exotic. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm not a vacation destination. Other times, you feel like you're getting judged before you even say a word, like you're already in a category based on how you look. But hey, it's not all bad. Some people are genuinely curious, respectful, and down to actually get to know you beyond the labels. That's interesting. Story 21. 5 feet 7 inches Indian man struggles to find a single date. Fit, goes to the gym, cooks great food, enjoys hiking and socializing. No results so far. Story 22. I do a lot worse with women of my own ethnicity. I've become a lot more open as I've gotten older. Learning to go from, why can't I make them want me, to, I want someone who wants me for me, has been a hard but necessary journey. Story 23. I would argue that looks play a huge part, but personality seals the deal. I am British living in Canada. Apparently, I should be fighting off the women. I have always been single, so I know the limits and generally stay within them now, mostly just getting refunds faster. Being British is the extent of my advantage in this country. Story 24. I have been getting significantly higher quality matches after filtering out white people from my dating pool on Hinge. When swiping on people in general, I have to actively think, do they seem like they like black people? I find that my ethnicity has more of an impact based on the region I am in than anything else. In highly diverse areas such as New York City, Los Angeles, or Miami, I am just another person, and my background does not matter as much to my dates. However, in predominantly white areas, I am seen as more exotic and women are much more interested in that. While in a relationship, I have found that my ethnicity does not affect our personal dynamic, but there has been tension between me and their family. Mostly, this involves subtle racism that occurs behind closed doors from their foreign parents. Story 25. Frustrating. Half of all people think I am Indian, and I get so much nonsense for it. Women in the West generally do not prefer Indian men. I am actually half black, but because of my brown skin, I receive that negative attention. Sometimes they think I am Arab or something. Nothing against Indians or Arabs, just saying. Black women generally prefer tall, dark-skinned men. White women prefer white men. Brown-skinned women want either tall black or white men. Brown-skinned, shorter men are not in high demand in the United States. I am not really interested in dating right now, so whatever. Story 26. I have had women decline to hang out or date because of my race. There were only 2 women who said that their father would disown them or something similar. Looking back, I think this affected me more than I initially realized, but I believe I am over it now. Additionally, I am tall, muscular, and physically attractive, so the potential for being objectified is always present. I cannot just be an attractive man with my own identity and agency. Instead, people expect me to fit stereotypes such as a thug or an amateur rapper. I find myself in a difficult position where I do not fully belong to any group. I am not accepted by my own community because they do not support my interests outside of our culture, and I am not accepted by others because of my appearance. I respect my future spouse too much to participate in adult entertainment, but given the current dating environment, I am uncertain if I will have the opportunity to marry. Story 27. I am a thin white man. I know that I receive certain privileges and get to go ahead in line with plus-size black women. It is not a fetish, it is not even a preference, it is just a thing. Story 28. My ethnicity never really mattered. My side profession was a factor. Sleeping with all kinds of women, at the time it felt powerful, but years later it had a dramatic impact on how special people are. The golden rule should be reciprocated, but sometimes it is weaponized and they treat you worse. Story 29. Some women like Latino men. Others just connect with me, so I am doing fine. I am also not picky when it comes to ethnicity. A pretty woman is just pretty. Story 30. Honestly, pretty great. They love my accent and many fantasize about being with a Russian man. When I go to Russia, I also have celebrity status because I am a United States citizen. Story 31. It seems to me that only black women are truly interested in me. Even then, I have to hope they do not secretly dislike me based on something they heard or experienced before me. Everyone else is either scared or just wants dinner and a free sexual favor. I wish I were wrong. I still hope I am. Story 32. I am half Italian, with maternal grandparents who immigrated from Naples in 1920, and half Cuban, as my father and his parents fled Cuba in 1959. To be honest, I do not think my background has ever influenced any of my relationships. I have always considered myself a typical white American. I have only dated white women, 1 Indian woman, and 1 Latina. I am not opposed to any ethnicity. It is just how it happened. Story 33. I am Cape Malay. My ancestors are mostly white mixed with Malaysian and Indonesian. The women who are mainly attracted to me are white, Indian, and mixed race who look similar to my complexion. Black, Japanese, Chinese, and Korean types of Asian women are not attracted to me. Story 34. Never been an issue from Latinos to Eastern Europeans. I am Brazilian American, 5 feet 10 inches, good tan year-round, green eyes, brown hair. Never been treated poorly. Story 35. As a white man, I have found black women to be the most positive and kind to me because I show them respect and am polite, just as I would with any woman. This suggests that black women may not always be treated well in society. Experiences with Latino women vary. Some are kind, while others behave similarly to young white women. My relationships with Asian American women have generally been more successful. Most of the white women I have dated were difficult to date, especially in my area. How they respond often depends on how you treat them. When treated with less respect, they may react more positively, but when shown respect, they might perceive you as strange. White women tend to be needy and manipulative, often asking for a great deal while offering little in return. Based on my experience, I would not recommend dating white women as a white man, as they often do not show genuine care unless it benefits their image. Story 36. I am a black man and I tend to be interested in white women. However, my lifestyle and personality preferences take precedence. That being said, I receive attention from both black and white women. Both groups flirt with me, sometimes stare, and in some cases have asked me out first. I definitely receive more attention from black women. Most of the women I have dated to some extent were white. Many of the women I flirt with or am in the early stages of talking to are white. But most is not all, and this should not be interpreted as me unwilling to date black women. I am certain that things have happened discreetly related to me being black, but the women involved did not have the heart to explain it. I suspect I have encountered expectations to behave or speak in certain ways that are not genuine to me, or situations where I was considered but socially or within the family context, it would not work as well as desired. It is difficult to assess how frequently this occurs with Latina women because my sample size is smaller. Most people I regularly meet are either white or black. My dating life is interesting. Receiving attention and finding someone willing to be intimate with me is not very difficult. However, finding someone who aligns with me and for things to work out is truly challenging. Story 37. Super pasty white man. I have no idea why, but on online dating applications, black women have been the majority of my matches. It makes no sense because they make up a small minority of women I try to match with. Honestly, now that I think about it, white women have been the minority of women I match with while being the majority of women in my area. Story 38. 6-foot-tall white man. All the women seem to like me. United States, Canada, Asia, Europe. I received attention everywhere I went. Story 39. I would be considered African descent or of African American, and dating has been good for me. I've never been held back by my ethnicity. Asian, Latina, and Caucasian women show me the most interest. Arab women show me the least amount of attention. Black women have been showing more interest in me over the past few years. I would say that being black has major benefits for dating, especially if you are in an environment that promotes upward movement in life. You can date any group of women pretty much. Story 40. Half Dutch and half Indonesian, for some reason Indian, Moroccan, Turkish, and people from the broader Middle Eastern region seem to have a liking for me. Story 41. Brother, I want to preface that I am not from the United States, but I can assure you that I am from a multi-ethnic place where the languages are not quite intelligible to each other. I am from the largest ethnic group and largest religious group, which, believe it or not, brother, matters quite a lot. I dated women from my own group when I was younger, and the treatment was as expected. In my 20s, brother, I dated a minority woman, both categories, and her family, I believe, thought I was a hard worker for my kind, both ethnically and in beliefs, but still not quite normal. Unfortunately, things went south. Later, I dated a woman from the second largest ethnic group, though of the same belief, and she treated me much better as, she said herself, I have work ethic and life values that are much higher than her own kind. Now she is my wife, brother. Story 42. Being a Canadian-born Arab has made it virtually impossible to date in my area. I genuinely wish that I were any other race than the one I am. Story 43. Definitely. I am white. Like, as white as you can get. My family has not left a 50-kilometer radius in Central Europe for at least 300 years. Ranked from which ethnicity likes me the most to which one likes me the least. 1. East and Southeast Asian women by a large margin. 2. White women. 3. Latino women. 4. Arab and Indian women. 5. Black women. I have no idea what is going on with black women, honestly. They are very attractive, but I feel like when it comes to dating, they are an entirely different species compared to everyone else. I have never been on a date with one because messaging has always been too confusing and full of mixed signals, so I had no idea what to do. Story 44. Maybe it's white privilege, but me being white really has not affected me in dating. Women who don't date white men just don't bother with me, and that's fine. We all have preferences. Story 45. I am Arab, so I tend to prefer lighter features. I am very attracted to any man with light-colored eyes. Story 46. I am Canadian and Native American, so overall, things are pretty good. Most of the attention I receive comes from white women, and they make up the majority of people I have dated because of it. Story 47. Half Middle Eastern, half German, living in a remote area of America. I definitely look different from the people around here. I had no issues when I was younger and am happily married now. Growing up looking different from the other kids definitely shaped me to have a funnier and more outgoing personality, which might have helped me. Story 48. My ancestry is half Northern European and half Mediterranean, but I would generally be considered a white man. My eyes and brows reflect the Mediterranean side. White women have rarely given me much attention without significant initiation on my part. Here are the ethnicities of women who treat me best to least. 1. East Asian. 2. Latina, primarily Mexican because of where I live. 3. White, including white Hispanic. 4. Southeast Asian. 5. Indian. 6. Black. East Asian women treat me the best and give me the most attention. This aligns with the stereotype of a white man attracted to Asian women, but I do not go out of my way to meet them. In my experience in America, East Asian women are more likely to take initiative to meet me, agree to go on a date, and generally have a positive attitude. I have never had an East Asian or Asian American woman stand me up, ignore me, or display a bad attitude. White women mostly treat me with indifference, which is challenging because I am most attracted to them. It is not that I have not met great white women, but they are among the groups that present the most challenges to me, alongside black women. The exception is white women from countries such as Russia and Belarus. They are strong in character and show far more respect than average American white women. They also tend to be better conversationalists. I receive much attention from these women and connect well with them, almost as much as with East Asian women. Black women generally lack attraction toward me and often display attitudes that exclude white men like myself. However, there are occasional black women who are confident, know what they want, are highly respectful, and take the initiative to get to know me. These women are rare. Overall, black women tend to avoid me. In contrast, one of the best experiences I have had was singing karaoke with a random older black woman until 2 a.m. Story 49. I am of English, Scottish, and Irish extraction. I cannot think of any way it has changed how women treat me. I suppose a Barbadian gay man once told me I was racist for liking the royal family. Story 50. It has not. I have dated women of various ethnicities, and my race has never come up, nor has it changed how they treated me, at least compared to how other women have treated me. Only one made a comment about it, a Mexican girlfriend when I was in high school, but she only did so because I was the most well-endowed white man she had met at that point. Story 51. I am white. I was more attractive when I was younger, and I age poorly if I do not do everything perfectly and take excellent care of my appearance and health. Story 52. I'm mixed Hispanic and white. I'm only 1/4 white, but I am very white passing. I often get mistaken for a white person, which, depending on the area I have traveled to, is not the best for my dating options. Overall, I have had the most success with white women. I have had one Japanese girlfriend and a few mixed white and Mexican girlfriends. I would say I have some success with other mixed Hispanics. I think people's perception of racially ambiguous individuals is an unknown factor that we do not have control over. Story 53. Immensely positive. Or at least it would be if I were open to the prospects. I am a whitewashed Hispanic American. Latinas have historically been very interested in me because of that. My guess is they see us as the best of both worlds, able to relate as a fellow Hispanic, and with all the opportunities for success that white individuals usually have, which Hispanic and black individuals usually do not have. The problem for me is that Latinas are the last group of women I would trust to be drug-free, actually child-free, and atheist, which are all hard requirements I have for potential partners. So I have never been able to capitalize on their infatuations. Story 54. White, 5 feet 10 inches. I have slept with around 90 women. I am average looking but have good conversation skills, a strong friend circle, cool friends, confidence, and am in good shape. Now 39, married with 2 children, bald and a bit overweight. Feels good looking back on the times I have had. I would probably do alright dating now because I make good money and still have a positive vibe. Plus, I am still quite social. Story 55. I am a white man who has been with over 50 women of diverse backgrounds. They appreciate it. They understand that my skin color represents power, heritage, and success. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.